Ric Renner alongside the stars of the show, Brian Damaris, and former NBA All-Star Devin Harris. Guys, we're just running out of adjectives to describe Luka. How about that fourth quarter? He was on fire. And guess what? This is not an April Fool's joke. Unbelievable way to start off the weekend working with these guys, right? We're just sitting around watching baseball. We're under the roof at 72 degrees. It doesn't get any better than this. And welcome to a glorious edition of Rangers Live presented by Frontier Communications. Ric Renner alongside the most powerful man in Texas media, Mike Bassick of 105.3 The Fan. He told me to say that. And we start with the Adolis Garcia. This guy just keeps on doing it now. 4 home runs in the last 6 games. No one will ever touch that Wilt Chamberlain kind of number. Number 1 in touchdowns with 127 and counting. What a night it was. And here he is in the studios to talk shop, talking about the all-time touchdown king in the largest classification in the state of Texas, Braden Locke. So good to have you here. Congratulations. What does it mean to you to have guys like Kyler Murray, Garrett Gilbert, Baker Mayfield? They're all looking up at you as the number 1 of all time.
It's an incredible honor.
It's time for Rick Around the Clock. Hey, break up Diamond Hill Jarvis. Remember football? They won their first game in 8 years after snapping a 77-game losing skid. Well, boys basketball snapped a 29-game district losing skid. Waxahachie coach Leslie Preby retires after 24 years at the school, 500 wins and a state title.
I can't just let Kevin Durant go across the lane. I don't do anything. Let him stop where he wants, catch the ball where he wants to catch it, and now he faces up, and I'm just playing, hold on, double R.
Day.
I'm just playing token defense. I might as well not even be there. This guy's 7 feet tall. He's going to turn around and just score the basketball.
I just slammed on Matt Bonner.
What you need to do is 2 parts, all right?
What is going on?
That's against company policy, right?
I mean, we do have
Almost left me
security. How do you get fans in here wanting autographs?
I don't know.
Past security. And by the way, Dan, I noticed you parked where the electric car is supposed to park. I think that was illegal parking by you.
You know, if you're Bobby Bigwell, the rules don't apply to you, Rick.
Well, hopefully it's there when the show ends.
Wow, that was a nice touch. I like that. We welcome you into Spurs Live. Ric Renner, Matt Bonner, the Red Rocket, and Mr. Danalytics, Dan Weiss. LaMarcus Aldridge is going to miss his 4th straight game. I am your replacement anchor for Dana Larson. Ric Renner signed to a 10-day contract, which is the longest contract I've ever had in my career. Great to be with you, my man. It's an interesting game because so much anticipation when you take on the defending NBA champion, and yet we have so much star power out tonight.
Well, we have star power right here, you and me. I mean, listen, Followill had Dirk last game. He's got Devin tonight, but your dreams have come true. You got me. It's a Christmas miracle. Let's do this.
It's a Christmas miracle and a Festivus for the rest of us. Well, COVID is definitely the big topic in the NBA. A fourth of the league has dealt with protocols, and the Mavs have their 7th player in 5 days that got knocked out. Let's take a look at who's in and who's out. Here's who's out. Ja'Cory McLaughlin added to the list that includes Luka, Trey Burke, Hardaway Jr., Kleba, Bullock, and Green. And we've had pretty much 2 a day until today, so maybe that's a positive sign. 2 assistant coaches are also on the list. Let's get reaction from Jason Kidd, who has his hands full, wondering who's available and who he's coaching tonight.
There's a lot going on besides X and O's right now. And then you have the holiday season when Santa's coming to town, so there's a lot going on.
It's not easy being in this situation. It's almost like you're coaching street ball. You know, you're out there and you don't know who you're coaching. You've had no practices. I can't even imagine it from his perspective. And welcome into day 2 of Big 12 Football Media Days, starring the one and only Gary Reasons, College Football Hall of Famer, 2-time Super Bowl champion. I'm Ric Renner. Aaron Hardigan will join us shortly with all kinds of interviews with the coaches and the players. A lot of fun on day 1 yesterday. One of my favorite moments was when Gary Patterson was up there. He had so many lines, he pretty much shut down Twitter. I loved this line where he said, good news, bad news. Good news, I got 18 starters back. Bad news, we were 6-7 last year. Now, Brooklyn, when we think of Argyle, we think of a football school, but it's really a girls' basketball school. 6 titles compared to their 1. Do you give the football players a hard time about that?
I mean, sometimes, but they're really supportive.
Welcome into High School Spotlight on Bally Sports. I'm Ric Renner. It's a fantastic time of the year for high school sports. Baseball, softball, golf, tennis, track and field will all be crowning champions soon. But up first is soccer. The regional finals just wrapped up on the boys and girls side with the cream of the crop in Texas punching their ticket to state. Welcome into High School Spotlight. I'm Ric Renner. Thank you so much for watching. When you think of Aledo High School, you think about a decorated football team that's won a record 10 state championships. But no athlete has given more joy to that program than a basketball player. He's never had a bad day. He's never felt like a victim. He's had strength, courage, and perseverance while his family helps him dance through the pain. He renamed leukemia Coolemia just because it sounds better and proved that you can when you have cancer. For nearly 2 years, Aiden Yielding starts his Tuesday with chemotherapy. But this day would be different, followed later by a basketball game.
Family on three, 1, 2, 3. Family!
I use him as an example. I can tell you there's not anybody in any of those locker rooms that can feel sorry for themselves ever. We have living proof every day that somebody has it harder than you do.
Here we go, 3!
My coach told me that anytime I got the ball to just shoot it, so I just did it, and then I made it, so yeah, it was just fun.
We're smiling and tears, pure joy, pure happiness.
It was really great seeing him hit that shot.
To see him out there, it's just a super special thing for us. He loves it, and he's just, you know, it doesn't matter what happens at that point, you know, once he gets out there and he starts smiling, it's just a, you know, you can tell the joy he gets from it, you know, so anyway, super cool.
I'm usually really good and really strong, and I got emotional. I mean, I teared up, you know, it was big. It was big to see him out there because he should be out there.
At 14, Aiden was diagnosed with leukemia. Because of COVID-19 restrictions, only one parent was allowed in Cook's Children's Medical Center. Since Mom is a nurse there, it made sense she would be the one. But Dad found a way to be there.
With only one person being allowed up, I sit in a chair for sometimes, you know, 6 to 8 hours. I had a little tree I sat underneath. I called it my office. One day we kind of started, you know, dancing back and forth and that kind of thing, and it kind of turned into a weekly ritual. And back then we were going through a real tough time, and that kind of turned into a kind of a coping mechanism for me. The important thing for me was him to know I was there. That was it.
It was funny. I was like, what the heck is this guy doing in the parking lot, spinning around in circles and stuff.
Did you ever think, this guy's not really related to me?
Not really. I was like, dang, that's him. Yeah, I know that's him. And yeah, I was just having a bad day, and it just kind of, in a weird way, made me happy.
I can never be embarrassed by him. Everyone kind of knows he's a nut job. No offense, but.
So do you have any formal education in dance?
No.
Did you learn this from anywhere?
No, we started dancing when we were real young. You know, my mama used to pull us on. We all used to, you know, North Louisiana, we kind of like to shake a leg a little bit, and we all kind of grew up just kind of acting goofy and everything.
Some kids would be like, dang, your dad has moves, or dang, your dad needs to practice, or something like that.
The Dancing Dad of Fort Worth received global notoriety. Cook's Children's social platforms received over 17 million views from 20-plus countries. Aiden and his dad ended up on Ellen and Will Smith's show.
That's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air right there.
They interviewed us, and then someone was like, oh my gosh, you're gonna be on Ellen. And we just laughed about it and joked about it, and then it actually happened, and I was like, wow. Like, after it, I couldn't believe it was real.
It started out as Lori's an employee there, and oh, by the way, she's got an idiot husband that dances in the parking lot, and then it just gathered steam, and next thing you know, it just blew up in this super crazy thing. Sometimes you get put in a bad situation, you just gotta find the blessings in it all. There's been a lot of blessings involved in this that we could have never even dreamed of.
Cancer didn't bring Aiden to his knees. It brought him to his feet.
Good hustle, 3!
And every day brings new healing with a community that is all in for Aiden.
We just all look up to him. We all want to be just like him. It's just so typical of who Aiden is. For him to go through and experience what he's experienced and to come full circle to where he is now. I know personally if I could be as tough as Aiden, man, I'd be doing pretty good.
So proud, so proud. His comeback has been so much greater than his setback. And he's had multiple setbacks. And his comeback is just beyond belief.
You know, we're not the poor me type of family. The cards were dealt and we're gonna play them. And we've had some touch and go stories through this whole thing with side effects and different things that were really, really scary. But his attitude has never changed. He will make the best out of every situation, no matter what.
Whenever I'm around like teammates, I just forget about everything that's happening. So like, it's good to forget about it every once in a while. And then I just wanted to be normal, I guess, and hang out with my friends and get back out there and play basketball.
December is the scheduled light at the end of the tunnel. We're dwindling away the treatments and working towards that, and we're ready. We're ready to get there.
Your story has been such an inspiration around the world. What is your message to anybody that's going through this?
I don't know, really. I guess just keep smiling, try to make the best out of what you got, knowing that always that people got it worse than you, and stay positive. Make other people smile, because whether you realize it or not, if you make someone else laugh or smile, it really makes you feel good on the inside.
Welcome back. The UIL Championship spotlight is now on the Prince of Highland Park. Perhaps you saw big number 32 in the Scots' third straight state championship. You can't miss him. Highland Park had a record 9 sacks. He had 4 of them in the game, along with being defensive MVP. He's the most highly recruited defensive player in the country. One day before the playoffs, he received 70 recruiting letters in one day. Alabama, Notre Dame, OU, Oklahoma State, the list goes on, and he's only a junior. Meet Prince Dorba.
OU, Nebraska, Washington, Alabama, LSU, Texas.
I'm gonna see how many shoe boxes I can stack up full by the end of my senior year. And right now I have 2 shoe boxes full of letters. And I'm on my 3rd one. I'm just like, wow, it's just crazy.
Prince is the best edge pass rusher that we've had. He's got so much upside to him because he can put on another 15, 20 pounds and not lose any speed. And that's why many of the colleges are interested in him. They all love a big pass rusher.
Prince Dorba is a long way from his birthplace in the West African country, Ivory Coast. At age 3, Prince, his 6-year-old brother Junior, and their mother fled genocide in a country at war. During the journey, their mother died of illness in a refugee camp.
All I remember seeing her getting lifted off to the cart, and the ambulance was just taking her away.
With the help of their aunts, the boys traveled over 6,000 miles to the United States and settled in a rough neighborhood in Dallas.
It's either you're doing drugs, you're gang banging, you're in prison or something else, or you're playing sports. Like, everyone in our family chose the sports route because we're trying to make it out. I let Prince walk home that one day. He said, like, I got it. I can walk home after basketball practice. And when he finally came home, I was like, hey, well, like, why are you late? And he told me that he had a gun pointed to his head for his iPhone 5C. And that just clicked in my head that day, like, I have to do something better not for me, but for my little brother. He's like the one who pretty much raised me, like, to be the man I am today. Like, he pushes me.
We knew family members of his through various means, and we invited him over for Thanksgiving dinner to play kickball. And it all went from there.
We all went to Thanksgiving that night, and it would just feel like, for the first time in my life, I feel like I was a part of a family. Like I had a mom, I had a structure, but I didn't call them mom and dad at that time. But in my head, I just knew, like, all right, this is gonna be my parents. I knew one day I was gonna end up with them. And went back to school on Monday, and I just cried. I was like, I wanna go back to Highland Park. I wanna go back, not just because it's Highland Park, but I wanna go back because people love me. I feel like I'm wanted. I don't feel like I'm just another kid on the street.
Junior and Prince would spend weekends with the Kilgus family, and then it turned into more.
Alfie and Carrie came up to me, and they talked to my aunt DeConte, and it was like, we can take Prince in, he can come to Highland Park, and we can be his guardians, he can come to school here and put me in like a better situation. And I was just like, wow, like yeah, I want to do that like right now.
2 kids from Africa, snowboarding in Colorado with their new family. 4 brothers tighter than blood.
Them taking me in, it means a lot. It just like show how much they don't care, like what skin color you are, where you're from, like what's your background, all that. They love me as one of theirs.
I haven't seen a difference. I won't see a difference. I don't see anything other than just him being my brother, both of them being my brothers.
Prince is not my favorite brother, if y'all didn't know that. Tyler is my favorite brother, but I still have a bond with Prince. Like, I need to keep him around for some reason.
Prince has had to fight some battles, and he's had to go through some tough times to get to where he's at. God put him in a great home with some loving parents and through the church, and he's turned out to be a fine young man along with his older brother.
They've enriched our lives in so many ways. I mean, we benefit way more from them than they do us, and I think maybe even our community as a whole.
The Highland Park community wrapped their arms around the Kilgus family. This included Shai and Charlotte Jones Anderson. Shai put Prince on his prestigious top-ranked AAU basketball team.
Prince, at a young age, was an influence on so many, even though he didn't know that. Every time we put him in the basketball game, there's a new energy on the court. Everybody's uplifted. And you know, you talk about water rising, rises all boats. That's Prince.
Baby. Oh. How are you?
Good, you?
Did you hear us?
Just now. I want to be able to call them like, hey mom, like, or hey dad, because you know, they're obviously one of my parents, so like it was kind of hard for me to say that. Like now, it's just like, hey mom, like just hey dad, like it's effortless for me to say. Like every time I go to bed, I make sure I go in their room, tell them I love you, good night, see you tomorrow.
Be careful who you invite over for Thanksgiving dinner.
I don't think he planned on leaving that night. That was his trick.
I put the dog. My dog. This is my dog right here.
It just happened. And it's a God thing. And that's the only way you could explain it.
Love you, dog. It ain't over yet, baby.
Prince is happy and loving and caring. He's never not smiling.
Going to Highland Park, playing football, having offers, and like just having this opportunity I have. Like looking back right now, like where we came from, who would have thought that I would be here right now?
Can you see by the dawn's
National anthem obviously is a very important time for me. I take it very serious whenever it comes on. I had an American flag bat wrap on my bat. You know, when people see it, it makes them happy that you know we're out there trying to represent for them.
Jonathan Lucroy's respect for men and women in uniform roots back to his college days at Louisiana Lafayette and the beginning of a lasting friendship.
John Coker was my roommate in college. We had a lot of memories together. We used to go out and party all the time, and he always had a lot of girls around him.
He was this goofy-looking cat, you know, but, you know, he had a funny little run to him.
He was really good at getting people out of their shell, and I was one of those people.
I never looked at him as a freshman. I took him in as a brother.
Freshman Lucroy and senior Coker starred for the Ragin' Cajuns. A standout defender, Coker displayed the same attributes that would lead him to fight for our freedom overseas.
I sort of played a game with myself that the field was full of landmines, and if the ball dropped, then kaboom, you know. I guess I did take it to heart, and I didn't want to let anyone down.
He sacrifices a lot for others, which is pretty evident now, but, you know, I saw that before.
So I decided to join the Army, and I don't regret it. I joined the infantry. Don't mind putting my life on the line, taking a bullet for a complete stranger.
That's tough to do, you know, sign a piece of paper that says you'll give your life for someone else you don't even know.
John Coker deployed to Afghanistan with the 45th Infantry. And on September 9th, 2011, his sniper unit was ambushed.
We were compromised. We knew it. We started noticing that the people that were watching us was no longer watching us. It was sort of like the farmers all disappeared as if they knew that something was about to happen. So that feeling alone became very eerie. A guy, he comes over the little blown out rubble. I saw the AK-47, and there was a quick spray, to the left and then back to the right. I could slow it down in slow motion, and play it out, freeze frame, smell everything. I can still hear everything.
Coker was shot in both legs. A bullet struck his femoral artery, and he lay in danger of bleeding to death.
I'm just basically praying and making my peace with God.
He got shot 3 times, and he died twice, and they brought him back twice. And I don't know if he told you that, but he did.
After rescue from the battlefield, John Coker was in a coma for 2 days.
And I just remember opening my eyes, and there was tubes all around me. There was a tube down my throat. I remember seeing my leg elevated. I remember looking to my right, and I saw a guy who had one arm. Both of his legs were gone.
Doctors saved John's life and legs, but the 45th lost 3 brothers that day. That emotional loss proved to be Coker's most challenging battle.
The real pain was the images that was playing out throughout my head. It felt like a dream. Erasing them from my cell phone, really hurt, because, you tell yourself, I can never text this person again, or call them.
As Coker began his recovery, he received the Purple Heart and a special gift from his best friend.
I sent him a whole jersey signed by the whole team.
But what was pretty neat about it was the fact that it was his number, and he put my name on the back. And so it really made me tear up quite a bit,
That support and that bond continue to this day.
I think what I try to do with John is I really didn't want to try to help him, because obviously I can't, but I try to just listen to him.
I love him as if we were blood, and he said the same thing. And we keep a conversation, we keep that type of relationship every day.
Jonathan honors his teammate and all our military heroes with a symbolic dog tag that he wears every day.
When I'm wearing it and I go look in the mirror after a game, even if I have a tough game, I look at it and just kind of keeps me thankful and keeps me humble, and just keeps me grounded. People like myself, civilians, we don't understand the gruesome reality that they lived. There's men and women that die every day, defending our country. For me, I try to honor them as much as I can.
I think our country is the greatest country on this planet.